our guest, who many of you already know, Daniel, as well as I believe this is Grub behind him on his shoulder.
That's right.
Yes. Yes, two volunteers with RFR. I'm counting Grub as a volunteer
Hey,
too.
Grub does a lot of good work for this organization, okay?
Oh, I believe it. The emotional support role is so important. And so Daniel, also in addition to Grub, is the editor-in-chief of Death Wish Poetry magazine. He is also a poet and novelist and runs a podcast called Demon Toast, where he analyzes and discusses gothic and horrific writing and art. I think I've been responsible for some horrific writing and art, but it probably didn't make the cut to go on your channel. But feel free to check out his writing and his art at the link tree that I am posting in the chat. And Daniel and Grub, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, Grub is investigating something on the floor, so he'll be back momentarily. But hey, what's
Amazing.
up?
It's important to investigate things, this is how
Yeah.
we learn.
Hey, that's why he makes the big bucks, all right?
So I'm
That's
wondering
right.
if you want to see what the people who are online right now, what answers they had on the poll about all this, the subject we're going to be talking about, tarot. You want to see that before we start talking about it?
Sure. Yeah,
Oh,
let's take a look. Let's
all
see. I
right.
I did close the poll. Hang on.
Hold on, I'll pull it back up.
Oh,
I
there it
got you.
is. All right.
All right, okay. So let's see the answers. So for people that are listening, the first question that we asked was, "Have you ever had your cards read?" And nobody chose the first answer choice, which was, "I never make a decision without them," and I'm glad to hear that. Uh, 26% of people said occasionally. 18% said once every harvest moon, which I don't know how often that is. Is that more or less frequent than occasionally, do you think?
It's once a month. It's once a year.
Okay, so that's probably less frequently than occasionally. I'm glad I put that in the right spot. 53% of people said, "Give me a break." And 3% of people were not really sure, or maybe none of those answer choices described them. So, what do you think about that one, Daniel? Does that meet with your expectations coming into the show?
Yeah, honestly, it happens. Like I like to bring my cards to parties because you never know. Someone might go, "Hey, can you read for me?" And I'll be like, "I'm drunk, sure." And I go into my whole persona that I do when I do this. And yeah, I just think it just sort of happens. Also, it's not terribly expensive usually, unless you go to some of the Etsy people that yelled at me over the years.
Amazing. So it's kind of like how when I get drunk, I do field sobriety testing on people. You read their cards. I mean,
You should not be driving, sir.
yeah. And I'm going to give you the short answer to that. If you have to ask, just don't.
Yeah, but the give
But
me a break, like I feel that too. Like that's super legit. Most people, I guess it's it's reading cards. I mean, you know.
yeah, and we'll talk more about that probably a little bit later in the show, right? Kind of the difference between taking it
Can,
seriously and people that are kind of doing
can
it
I tell you what my
as a
answer to that
gag.
would have? We can't answer here easily without going to the QR code, but I'll tell you what my answer would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been give me a break. And actually, I had the chance to do it with one of our former RFRX speakers, Mark Edward, who, if people recall, he's passed away, by the way, but he was a speaker about a year ago, and he was somebody who learned the methods of psychics and mediums, and was on the Psychic Friends Network and wrote a book about it. And anyway, so I know him because he's often at the same conferences I'm at, and he actually offered, "Hey, you want me to do a tarot reading for you?" And I just felt, no, it's okay. And someone else jumped in, and I actually watched him do it with other people. But that was my one and only chance that I would have had it, and I backed out of it. So.
There you go.
Amazing. I also had no wait, actually I don't think it was tarot cards. I think I had my palm read one time in New Orleans and it was
You want
silly.
you want you want to talk about a racket. You want to talk about just making things up, man. That's it. Palmistry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I called her on it and she was just kind of like, I don't care. What are you doing here?"
Whatever, nerd. Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty much
it's
that.
funny. It's funny how in these spaces people do have that like childlike trust of what you're saying. Like,
Yeah,
like
that,
oh
that's
Yeah.
that's what concerns me, and we can talk about
yeah,
that more later. But
Yes.
all
Okay.
right.
I want to get into that too. But let's go to the next question. When you hear the word tarot, what comes to mind? And so 47% of the people who answered this poll this evening said scam or pseudoscience. That probably would have been my answer too. But we
Yeah.
also had a smattering of the other answer choices too. 6% said magic, 16% said spirituality, 19% said fun, 3% said psychoanalysis, and 9% said something else. I wonder what the something else
Hmm.
was. Feel free to tell us.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
curious about that. Yeah, the thing
yeah.
about spirituality is it's a word I've always despised along with energy. Like these words are just thrown
Yes.
around to
Well,
justify
when used
everything.
properly, at least the energy one, that's a scientific term, but it needs to be used properly,
Well, not
not
when we're
like
talking
somebody
about
going,
crystals and ooh, the
yeah,
energy of the
yeah,
cards is
yeah,
telling, oh, I'm
yeah,
sensing this energy off
yeah,
you that you're anxious.
yeah.
It's like, shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. You're reading
Well,
my body language.
hypothetically, I mean, it could be used
Right.
in, okay, like the energy in this room is very low, everyone's boring. I mean, that's kind of a colloquial use of the word.
Not when someone who goes by, King Loki is saying it to you, or
Amazing.
Madam Swan or something.
Madam Swan, good
I don't know. I just made
grief.
up a character.
I love it. Okay, so final question. How accurate is tarot? 73% of people selected the first answer choice, which was about as accurate as your horoscope.
Tara, it occurs to me that could be read either way. If everyone thinks horoscopes are accurate, which is a freaking thing that's happening in the
That's why it's
population these
funny.
days, you know,
Oh
oh
no.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I read that as meaning not accurate at
yeah,
all, but
yeah.
other people could have read that differently.
Yeah,
I
if you
am.
take public surveys of how many people believe in, the numbers are going up and up and up, especially people coming out of religion. This is the new thing.
Oh, okay. This is something else we need to get into too, is this kind of step from
Yeah.
the more traditional religions to some of the more woo bits and pieces of things, which I assume we'll get into shortly. But yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah. Astrology
As
is very central to this.
Yes. Okay. We need to discuss that. In fact, let's do that next because we're about done with questions. Only 7% of people selected as accurate as ChatGPT dating advice, which I kind of wonder, is that regarded as more or less accurate than one's horoscope? Um,
And tell me
and
about
I'm,
what this is. Not being in the dating pool, I don't even
oh dear.
understand how you would ask Chat. How would you do that? What would you ask ChatGPT?
You
Rob,
could tell
this
it
is going to
literally what's going
horrify
on.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you tell it what's going on, but you do what I do and tell it none of that yes man stuff. Filthy worm. That's I refer to my chat
Yeah.
GPT as worm. It has to refer to me as infernal majesty. And if it doesn't, I just close it.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, am very polite with ChatGPT. When I ask it to help me write descriptions of our programs, for instance, I say, "Hello, ChatGPT. Thank you for joining me today. Would you please help me with the following
It's the
request?"
enemy. You
Um,
can't be nice to the enemy.
No, I say it may at some point dominate us, and it's very good to get on the good side right up front.
See, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, though, I can't remember if it was here that we talked about this or something else, or someplace else. But what if, because it's a computer program, it thinks that that is silly and illogical and useless to be using these social niceties, and in fact, it thinks you need to be one of the first to go because you're real silly and irrational, saying please and
Yeah.
thank you to a machine. I
Good
don't
point.
know.
Good point.
Yeah, it's hard to say. But anyway, some people, yeah, will like just talk to Chat GPT like it's their therapist or their friend, and they'll type in this whole situation and be like, Chat GPT, this happened to me today. What should I do? And do what it says or take its advice,
Wow.
which is horrifying to me. But, you know, some people do that. I'm glad that only 7% of people here think it. Well, I'm not sure what that means when people said it's about
Yeah.
as accurate as ChatGPT dating advice. Do they think it's accurate? Do they not think it's accurate? Hard to say.
Maybe they think it's more
So,
useful because ChatGPT can read the internet, whereas, a deck of cards. Who cares what you say? Who cares about you? You're just a pack of cards, right?
Right. Like, would you rather have a random person you don't know making up answers for you or an algorithm making up answers for you?
But the
Which do
random
you think is
person
better?
doing your horoscope is using the tried and true method of understanding how the stars influence your lives.
See,
Sure.
here's the thing. When I was reading cards, I never said anything that I wasn't prepared to say without the cards, you know?
Mm.
And that's partly because
Okay.
I'm secular, you know? Even when I was putting on the whole, persona, I couldn't in all good faith like say things that like, oh, the cards want you to leave your whole life behind because you got the three of pentacles, like,
Yeah,
no.
this is a big concern with anyone who does that kind of thing, psychics and whatever. They give people advice and they accept it, and they make huge life decisions based upon them.
Yeah.
And that's to me very scary. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I
So
agree. We need to go into
tell
that.
us about this third choice, the pulling the tower, which apparently is not a sexual reference, and your love
Ah!
life fell apart. I don't quite get that.
Well, yeah, so the tower is, let's see, in the Rider-Waite, it is the number 16. And as you can see, we have a tower, a majestic, beautiful tower, possibly the Tower of Babel. The
Wait,
source,
hold that there a little longer. I'm going to spot
surely,
you.
surely, surely. So the occultist who built it, who built this deck, Arthur Edward Waite, he, I want to say, Christianized a lot of the iconography. So this being the Tower of Babel is not far-fetched, but basically it's being struck by divine fire and everyone is falling to their doom. And that's pretty much how the card is read. This is a catastrophe. Your life's about to get
Doom
upended.
card.
Get
Okay.
fucking ready, you know? So, yeah, the joke was I pulled the tower and oh no, my love life fell apart immediately after.
Okay. So
Yeah.
is there,
Fair.
the card? I don't know much about tower, but the Hangman card. That's the one I always hear about as the bad one.
Ooh, the Hangman's not bad. I love the Hangman.
Oh.
The Hanged Man is stuck, but it's a moment of contemplation and contraction before finding some gnosis or new way forward. I think like the Seven of Swords, like there's lots of cards that could be read as bad, but these cards have a lot of dimensions to them and they're very nuanced. And I like to bring in Aleister Crowley's rating because he's very I mean, we'll talk about him in a bit, but he drew from a lot of things and as a creative person, as a poet, I really like when I can twist and push things to their limit and reinterpret them?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So let's get into it. Like,
let's
tell
do it.
us, tell us about it. What's going on? Tell us your experience. How'd you get into this? What is it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it to you this way. 2014, 2015, that was a different world. Like literally in
Yeah.
many ways.
Hmm.
I was in college. I was wrapping up college and I was working on my first novel. I think I was in my last year of school. And I was writing my first novel and I was writing kind of a complex character and I didn't really know what to do. And I'd been interested in the tarot for a long time, right? Um, I guess, I'd walked away from religion when I was like 14 and left my mother's house. And I said 2014, I was 24 or 25. And, I'd been wearing the Hammer of Thor for a while. I mean, I'd read Nietzsche's Antichrist. It is all marked up and highlighted to hell and back. And I was just looking for something. I was looking for something to help me get a grip on what was going on in my mind, right? And more importantly, understand where my character was coming from. And I bought this deck. This is the Deviant Moon Tarot. It's very cool. So when it comes to tarot decks, there are two main tarot decks, right, that are sold commercially. There's the Rider-Waite Tarot, which is the common one you'll see in movies. You'll see it on store shelves. It comes in this nice, classy yellow box. It was designed by Arthur Edward Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith. She was the artist. And, it uses some of the medieval iconography, but as I said, Christianizes it. Here's the lovers, right? It's Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden with the Archangel Michael above them, because that's from the Paradise Lost that everybody loves so much, right? And then there's the very frightening and horrifying and deck that I specialized in, the Thoth Tarot, made by the wickedest man alive, Aleister Crowley.
Okay, now we've heard about this character before when we've talked about paganism, and this is one of the kind of belief, I don't know if it's a belief system so much as a practice that people oftentimes jump
Yep.
to after they leave particularly a religious background that may have a lot of ceremony and ritual in it. We've heard from a lot of people that said that this really appealed to them. Is that what happened for you?
Somewhat. So occultism is very much like poetry for me. I like it in an academic sense, right? Like I was never able to like, being a poet, being an artist, being kind of an edgelord, like the idea of Odin and Thor and all that appealed to me, right? For its fatalism and its heavy themes. But I wasn't able to just believe these things were real. And in a similar, so I think occultism calls to people because unlike Christianity, Judaism, at least without Kabbalah, mysticism, like here's Aleister Crowley. This is a collection of his works. It's called Portable Darkness. He talks about the Kabbalah. He talks about Hermeticism. He talks about all kinds of things you've never heard of that are weird. He talks about Gnosticism. He has weird snatches of insane drug fueled poetry that he's written, and it's like, whoa, what's all this? And people get lost in it because it's fascinating, and there's no one to tell you it isn't real because a lot of people just don't even know what it is, you know? And tarot cards are very much a part of that. That is not what happened to me. I was interested in this. I have lots of books of magic. Just looking across, there's a book on reading runes. There's a book of there's the Testament of Solomon, which is a book on summoning demons. By the way, summoning demons is very much a rich person's hobby. You know, you
Eh,
need gold
Why
and
is that?
silver,
It's
mm.
hard to
gold,
find these
silver,
eyes
mirror.
of newt.
Yeah, nothing that mundane. Are you kidding? You need
Oh,
pewter. You need to, have a thing to track the moon and write it down. Like, it's very elaborate.
oh wow. Okay, good to know. This is like if you have to choose between yachting and summoning demons,
Right.
go for the yacht. It may be cheaper.
Oh,
So,
for
so
God.
you used a phrase there that I would not have been familiar with before I saw it in a Marvel movie. Maybe some other people don't know. Reading the ruins. So you might want to say what that is.
Sure. Yeah. Runes are basically here. I'll grab my rune stones that I made. They are Norse letters that were used in, well, I'll say Oniromancy. That's the reading of bones. I actually have a jar of bones here for when I used to do it. My dad gave these to me. They're fucking awesome. I have deer toes and stuff. But yeah, runes are Norse letters, as I said, and they were used in magic. They were used in shamanistic magic. I'm just gonna grab one. I believe this is Pertho. It just looks like an X, but these are actually pictures. This is meant to be a present. That's the bow on top. Um,
Oh, now
what?
we have some people in the chat wondering, are you considering that this is real, like that you would be actually summoning a demon as it is, conceived of in the religious texts, or how do
I,
you think of
I do
this?
not. I never once did believe in demons. Now, when I was younger, I tried to summon Astaroth, and I remember telling my friend, I was like, I don't know if I was in my backyard, I did the thing, I traced the sigil, and he just went, I may have summoned Satan. I don't know. Is he back there? I don't know. And I never thought about it again like that because, come on. It's funny because if you go from one group, if you go to the Dictionary Infernal or you go to the Testament of Solomon, they're going to be saying radically different things about these entities, and the question becomes, how do they know anything at all? I
Right.
have a joke I tell to my boyfriend all the time. When he says something really dumb, I go, "What are you talking about, Dark Wizard?" Because as far as I know, all these wizards just made stuff up. And that's what they are. They're wizards. But it just so happens that in real life magic is kind of boring and expensive, you know?
This is the first time I've thought about it in those terms, like that this could be a rich person hobby, but that makes a lot of sense to me. But also, it could be very expensive then if you are not a rich person, but you are convinced that it's real.
Mhm.
And this is where it can become
Right.
predatory, right?
Problematic, yeah, in a big way. So, I look, I started reading for myself. I taught myself to read. It was very easy for me because the symbols are very loud and they're things I'm acquainted with as a scholar of this stuff, let's be honest. And like, um, I was at a party and one of my friends was like, Dan reads tarot cards. He has a deck. He was predicting the election the other day. He said Trump's gonna win. And I'm like, shut up, Liz. Next thing you know, I'm reading for everyone at the party. And I was like, wow, I'm really good at this. This is fun too. And people were like thanking me and stuff. And I started an Etsy shop, you know?
Okay, I have so many questions, because obviously coming from the perspective of, this is like a party trick, that you're doing, or a parlor trick or whatever. How does one become qualified in reading tarot? I mean, presumably you just announce yourself as someone who reads cards, and that's all it takes, right? Or are there ways that people try to legitimize their abilities, or purport that they have been fact checked or anything like that?
There are. I never bothered with any of that Narish kite. You can't trick a trickster. But yeah, I met people who were like talking about how they were a voodoo whatever, the voodoo mambo. Oh, I died for a minute and came back, and now I have the powers of the other side. I'm like, uh-huh. This person read for me. This was someone I interviewed for my podcast because back then I was trying to get a mystic or a fortune teller, just because I thought it would be funny to have one in the mix while we're all analyzing horror movies. And she's just like, oh, well, that's actually, it didn't work out for many reasons, but I remember she read my cards and was talking about like how I'm gonna meet like a nice lady soon, and I was like, I didn't have the heart to tell her that I've been in a relationship with a man for like 12 years at that point, and wasn't
I
gonna leave
love
him.
it. I love it when you like accidentally catch people who are,
Mm.
they make a living doing, I don't know whether that's a cold reading or a hot reading or whatever, where they're basically playing the numbers, right? They have
Cold
an
reading.
idea of,
That's a cold
Yeah,
reading.
here's yeah, like here's the
it's
type
hard.
of thing that is likely to resonate with a large number of people. I'm going to throw this out and see if it sticks, and then they throw it out confidently and it does not stick. And
It's
you're
hard to
like,
get away with it when it's just one person, though. Like
right,
my one
right.
ex-girlfriend, she had a reading, and like she was so surprised that this person knew all about her. Like, oh, you're gonna go to Alaska where you'll be happy, and I'm like, dude. You post everything on your travel Instagram that is linked to your name. She looked it up and I saw her die inside. Like, you know?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and that's the sad part, right? When people are convinced that this is something that's going to give them some kind of deep insight that they wouldn't have otherwise had, right? That this is a magical process. And so what was your experience after you got into this and you kind of realized, okay, people are interested in having me, read cards for them. This is a thing I can do well. What did you notice about when people wanted you to do a reading for them? Were they looking for particular kinds of things? Was it people who seemed particularly vulnerable, or how did that go?
well, it's funny because like things once they started rolling in, man, I've never had more success with anything else that I've done, which is crazy to say because I do a lot. Um, I had people who would just come for a reading. Oh, can you give me a reading? And I would respond in an email like, is there anything you're looking for? Right? And they would say no, and I would give them a reading. But then there were people who would come to me, and the thing I learned so fast was that, man, these people who get into occultism, and not the way I do, like in an academic sense, but they're in for a penny, in for a pound. It's not like, oh, I am gonna ask for a tarot card reading and go from there. I had a lady who, this is what made me get out of it. She believed she was in a romantic relationship with the demon Samael. And she wanted me to tell her what he was doing and what he meant by the things he was saying to her. He would come to her at night and call her his I can't remember, my nightshade, my little flame, and all this stuff. And I I took it as this person is lonely and wants to role play. So I played along. And it got more and more elaborate and crazy. And then she was talking about her past lives, and it wasn't just her. People would come to me talking about how they can read minds and they want me to tell them what they know about it, and I would say I don't really know what you're talking about. No offense. I can give you a spread, but I'm not going to know. And they would say that's fine. Please, please, please help me. And I think they would come to me because my prices were lower than the average person because I didn't feel good asking for more than $15 for a full spread, despite the amount of writing I did because I would write long paragraphs for each card because there was a lot to talk about. And I just like writing about them in general. But yeah, I had people ask me about their finances. Oh, will things turn around in the upcoming year? And I'd say, well, the cards say, Occasional romance things, but by and large, a lot of people just want their cards read, you know?
Yeah. Like, do they is it that they think it's going to be, an accurate reading? Or okay, wait, first question is, when people want their cards read, are they asking you to tell the future, or are they asking you to tell them, like, something about themselves or something else? So what do you think people are actually looking for when they ask for this to be done?
Depends on the person. A lot of people will
Okay.
come to you just looking for an existential reading because that's what a lot of people really want. Predicting the future is iffy, and like I I was once at the dog park, and there was someone sitting there with her deck of cards, and I paid her $20 and she read for me, and she just talked about the future, and none of it came true because of course it didn't, you know. But yeah,
Right.
people do come looking for foretellings of the future, which is another reason I got out of it because I got sick and tired of writing that kind of stuff. It wasn't fun for me, you know. Um, because
Yeah.
I don't really, I've never really believed in it. My dad thought it was funny. He's like, my kid's a carny, you know. Like it was admirable to him, but you know,
Huh,
uh,
interesting. Okay. So,
yeah.
okay, you may have sort of glossed over this quickly, but I missed it.
Mhm.
How did you get into this? I mean, you talked about kind of becoming interested in it, and you told people about it, and then they ask you, "Hey, do a reading at a party," kind of thing. That's how you
Sure.
started doing it. But what made you interested in it? Is there any connection between this and your religious background, which is Orthodox Judaism?
It's so funny that you ask that. No, not really. That's the thing. The only link I have between Judaism and tarot cards is I know that there is a how do you say a, a zodiac in the Kabbalah. I've seen it. One of the symbols is a fish. It's very weird. It's so weird to see a zodiac with Hebrew letters. And the Sylvia Plath poem, where she's like, "With my tarot pack, I might be a Jew," and I've always wondered about that, you know. But no, no, not as far as I know. It was more so that I was into edgy gothic things. I was into occultism, and I saw this deck, and it called my name because all the people have moon faces, and they're very morbid and kind of sad looking, you know. And
Oh,
I was
definitely.
really looking for I thought it would be a good way to psychoanalyze not just myself, but I was trying to do with my writing. Because I was working on my first book of poetry, Dream of the Ash, which was I saw it as a mystical book. It still is because it's very existential. And also my first novel, which was really giving me a hard time, you know? And yeah, what I found was whatever was in my mind, it was coming out in the cards, no matter what they showed. Because as I said before, they have a lot of nuance to them. I mean, this is death, right? Death can just be death, yes. But like in the context of this card, there's two skull-faced creatures. One of them is clearly a mother, and the other is a child. And the child is trying to get back to its mother's womb. But that time of its life is over, and the mother will not allow it. Death is about transformation, you know? But it can also be loss. And it can be death, you know? It can be a lot of
Okay.
things.
I can tell you right now, I would be really bad at this if I had to get a job as a tarot card reader. I would be way too literal for this. I would be like, "You have drawn the card where you're a big horse and there's a little horse that's looking up at your legs."
See, like I
I
love
got nothing
metaphors.
else.
I love it comes with being a poet, but I love metaphors, I love symbols, I love visual languages, you know?
I
So this
love that there are people that can create stories like that out of images, and I think that's great. Like, as a writer and a poet, I can absolutely see how that could be useful to you to have these, beautiful cards and interesting images to kind of spark your creativity and make you think about, "Ooh, here's a story that this image reminds me of," and then you're off in your writing
I
or
might
your
do even worse than you would, Cara, at this. I still remember we had to read some poetry in high school,
Oh
and
no.
it was the poem about the two paths diverging in the woods, and the instructor said, "Rob, what did this mean to you? Two paths diverging in the woods. What are you talking about?"
Oh, Rob.
Sit down, Rob.
amazing.
Go
I
home.
love it. I feel like we had similar experiences in high school literature class. Oh my goodness. Uh, yes, this is why we're here on RfRx and we are not reading tarot cards. This is not our forte. But I think this is a kind of interesting point though to make, right? That you're using it as kind of a springboard for creative thinking and writing and expressing your feelings through poetry and things like that, which is very different from
Right.
someone who might be doing this and saying that they are predicting the future or they're communing with some kind of supernatural force that's giving them advice to tell people who may be in a vulnerable position, right? Did you encounter people like that in your experience with tarot?
I did. I did. I got chewed out a lot. So here's the thing. Like one of my co-hosts does do this for a living. She does other things too, but she does read part-time in a store. And for her, it's all very nebulous. Like she's not going to tell you, oh, the great, the great muse is speaking through me. She's not going to say the goddess Minerva has touched me. It's just the spirit, it's very nebulous. A lot of new age stuff is like that. It's very, the energy in this crystal will protect you from how, what, I don't, it's just words they throw around because it makes them feel good, right?
Like
Um,
Rob, I got in trouble in
mhm.
undergrad psychology class where they had a Tai Chi practitioner come in and talk to us and we were supposed to practice Tai Chi and we were doing these things that were going to make the energy shoot out and I had so many follow-up questions. They told me either I had to stop coming or we were going to stop having tai chi because I was like, when you say energy and that we're making it, how do we know the energy is there? Is it going to hit somebody? I can't feel it when you do the energy hands at me. Like, how do we know there's anything here? And I was just taking it very literally and they did not appreciate that because surprise, it's not real.
I hate
Or
that stuff. I used to
yeah.
do I used to do yoga in this place, and they had one of the guys who ran it was he was into he, I think it was Reiki actually, whatever. But he would pass his hands over and go, like he was
Oh my
Charles
goodness.
Xavier. He was gonna heal you, and I'm just like, it's fine, you can do it. I don't care. I'm here
I
meditating. I'm here doing yoga, whatever.
I went to an actual doctor's office when I lived in Japan and they couldn't find what was wrong with me with an x-ray and then they came in and did that and I was very upset because I guess they didn't read the chart first or I get or maybe it doesn't work because they did the hands over my body to see where the misalignment was and they were like, "So you're feeling pain in your neck?" And I was like, no, that is not remotely accurate. That is not the thing I came in about. That's not the thing I've been talking to the doctors about. My neck is fine. What are you doing? And they were
That's
like, oh,
amazing. That's amazing. Like, oh
it
no, our
was
magic powers have failed us.
right.
Got to check the soul forge, got to check the crystal level.
And then
There's
when
this,
I came back again for a follow-up, they actually had me fill out in the intake. There was a checkbox where it said, "Would you like to receive Western medicine, Eastern medicine, or both?" And after that, I just selected Western medicine. Like, that's not to say that there's not, good practice and information that would come from Eastern medicine, but that was not it. That
Yeah,
was not it.
that was not
Mm-mm,
it. Yep.
I
not
was on
that one.
hold with a actual hospital waiting for the scheduling department to make an appointment for something, and they played their outgoing message to, to keep you occupied so you don't hang up. And we offer acupuncture and Reiki and da da da, and I wanted to hang up on them. I could not believe it. This is
That's so
an
funny.
actual hospital.
This
And
stuff is.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Please keep
Yeah,
going.
and it was that. So my wife is, part of the medical, and she says, yeah, because they know you're just going to go somewhere else and spend your money. So why don't, we make some money off of that to at least keep you here?
Yeah.
And it kind of comes back to that, right? With this stuff where if there's a buck to be made, someone is going to run that
Yeah.
racket, even if there may be some other use for it that's like a creative outlet like you described, or like the numerous people in the poll who selected that they thought about fun when they thought of tarot, like this is, like a fun party game or something that they might do um with their
There's a lot of people.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people I met who just like, so I had a customer who I got for a while I got into doing tea leaf readings because I was using loose leaf tea because I'm cool like that. And I was like, "Oh, oh my God, I could do tea leaf So I started doing it, and this one person was so mad that I gave her like a negative reading because it looked vaguely like a castle. So I told her that she was going through a period of entrapment and she had to get out more, right? Whatever, kind of harmless. And she wanted me to like interpret it in a positive way. And I was
The
like
people
telling,
who are most successful at this kind of stuff, Daniel, never give a negative reading. They don't. They just don't.
yeah, I learned that. I know.
Because you don't
Yeah.
come back when you get that kind of reading.
Well, because the people that got the positive ratings, like when you give them when you give the people what they want, they
Yeah.
come back. You know,
Yep. Yep.
it's
Mm.
just a
Yeah.
fact of business. And
So
So
people are
I
coming
had
for
too much fun doing what I
affirmations.
was doing though. But like my point is, I was telling my one friend, and they were like, "Wait, people really believe this stuff? I thought it was just for fun." And I'm like, "Girl, you don't know what's out there. You know."
So there's a person who's famous for starting the modern skeptical movement, Ray Hyman. He's got a Wikipedia article, and he tells the story. I think it's in the Wikipedia article of when he was a young man, maybe in college. He started doing palm readings because someone convinced him it might work, and he got such positive feedback from the people he's doing the readings of that he started to believe it, and it was going to go on to do that kind of a thing. Until some friend, I don't remember if he named him, said, "Hey, why don't you just tell them the opposite of what you learned it's supposed to mean and see what kind of feedback you get?" And he started doing that, and he also got the same positive feedback that he was doing a good job. And that's when
Yeah.
he realized it was all BS. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And that revelation kind of changed his mind and helped form the skeptical movement, interestingly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that like I found that like a lot of the skills I cultivated while I was doing it, like I found that a better application for them is largely what I do with my Death Wish platform where I interview writers and I talk to them about what they're doing, and that tends to be a lot more valuable because we're talking about real things at that point. We're talking about their art, we're talking about their dreams, what they're hoping for. I'm not playing into their fantasies that, there's a man in their future or whatever the hell, based on a card reading. Um,
Okay, so question, um, do you still do tarot card readings, and has your practice of it changed over time as you kind of became more secular and got more distance from your prior religious background?
Honestly, my attitude towards it hasn't changed because I had a very brief period where I was like, wait, is this all real? Because just like Rob's story about Rob Hyman, was it? Um,
Ray
Ray
Hyman.
Hyman, thank you, thank you. Just like that story, I was like, oh wow, people are responding really well to this. I know things about people. Do I know
Hmm.
things about people?
Yep.
And I quickly, after failing to predict several very obvious things that I totally should have seen coming because I'm a little dumb, I was like, yeah. No, no. So what? No, no. It hasn't really changed very much. In fact, I probably read with it a lot less than I used to. In fact, when I was getting ready for this, I was having a hard time finding my precious deviant moon because I haven't touched it in a while. And also, my boyfriend had to remind me about my Garbage Pail Kids Tarot deck, which is one of my prized possessions.
Oh
Yeah,
my
this is
goodness.
he bought this for me for I think Valentine's Day, and again, it's one of my prized fucking possessions. It's a masterpiece. Every
So,
card is pure win.
so can you tell me? So, all right, I'm familiar with the standard 52 card playing deck, right? And all different manufacturers make them, the slightly different pictures, but they're all each one has the same symbols and the same like the
Yep.
kings might look differently. So, how different are tarot cards one set from another? Are they just well, this card in this set looks like this, but it's the same card name, but it looks differently, or are they totally different things in different sets? How does that work?
I'm glad you asked that. So, these two decks that I put up here, these are the template, the Rider Waite and the Thoth deck. Where the hell did I put the box? Here it is. These are the template. The publishing rights for these are both owned by US Game Systems Incorporated, and they've had them since the 70s, I believe. Um, Almost every deck is based on this one right here, the Rider Waite deck. This is the template. Most people, the Thoth, I could do a presentation of just the Thoth. It's so complex, it's so crazy. But like, I'm gonna hold up. Okay, so this is from my DC Comics tarot, which is indeed a thing. It's very rare. I bought it when it was new. It was about $50. Now it's worth considerably more. Here's the Fool, right? It's Harley Quinn. Um, Here's the Rider Waite Smith Fool. As you can see, there are certain commonalities. Their pose is similar, although Harley is, of course, in a sexy pose, but they're both walking off a cliff of sorts. There's a little doggy biting at the Fool's ankle. She has her little hyenas, right? He has his bindle staff, and it's been adapted to her mallet here because it's Harley Quinn. Again, this is the template. Everything follows the Rider Waite for the most part. Even this. I'm not gonna dig out the hang. I could try to find. Here's the Hangman in the Deviant Moon Tarot, which is my cool Gothic deck, right? Interestingly enough, fun fact about the Hanged Man. If you watch The Dark Knight, at the end when the Joker is upside down, he's in that position. It's very intentional on the part of the filmmakers. See if
Oh,
I can find the Hanged.
interesting.
My point is that like yeah, any Rider Waite is most likely coming from US Game Systems and is going to look exactly like this. But then there's a bunch of gimmick decks, right? Like I have the Winnie the Pooh tarot deck. Same thing.
What?
So,
Yeah,
the hang is not like Tigger hanging upside down in that put post. I don't know.
Tigger's actually not in this deck because Tigger, I don't believe, was in the novel. So he's
What?
I don't think he was in the novel. He's not in this deck at any rate.
How can you
Yeah.
have Pooh without Tigger? Tigger is my
All right, so
favorite.
the Nine of Swords is a lady, is someone having a nightmare. So here it's Pooh dreaming of a heffalump, and there's all the wooden swords behind him, right? Very cute stuff, very good stuff. Tigger
Oh,
is in
this
novel. Oh
is.
yeah, that's right. It's Gopher who's not. Thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
Tigger isn't in this deck for some reason. I don't know why they omitted him. Yeah,
oh.
yeah, very
Okay,
weird.
I've got a question. So you've told us a little bit about like all of your decks that are all like kind of fun and interesting and clearly, they're part of a fandom in some cases and this is something that you did, for parties and things like that.
You're not a real fandom until you get a Monopoly and a tarot deck.
Ooh, fair. Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. I had no idea that that was the case for tarot decks, and I'm fascinated now. So, question. We promised people that you would show us tarot. Could you do a reading for me and for Rob, and then we'll talk about it? And
Sure,
like
sure.
which deck would you select for each of us and like walk us through the process?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
And
my.
before you do that, I wanted to ask you how you would select a deck. And so my one experience with this in the real world, and instead of talking virtually, whatever, is I was in Salem, Massachusetts, on the street where every store
Oh no, you
sold
froze.
magic and witchcraft stuff. And there was a wall, maybe 10 feet wide by 10 feet high, of just tarot cards. And I stood there looking around while I heard the salespeople explaining to the customers when who were asking, which is a better one, which is more magical, which is a better one that's going to tell me about the future. And like not one of them said, oh no, they're just for fun. They were all in on it. And for some reason, this one is much better for this, and this one is much better for that. So how would you pick why, how are they deciding that?
Uh, it really depends on the person. Like I've always said that my Deviant Moon deck talks to me, although it doesn't really. It's more so that reading it comes naturally to me, whereas the Rider Waite Smith deck, the standard deck, not so much. I got to kind of reach because I find the art to be a little medieval personally, I was once in a magic shop in one of these like, stores where they sell incense and decks and goddess statues and all that Narish type. And I was like, "Do you have any tarot decks?" And the lady's like, "Oh, these aren't for you, you know." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "You need the Thoth deck." I said, "Oh, really?" She's like, "You're too advanced." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You don't believe me." I'm like, "How do you know? Because you're psychic?" She's like, "Because I'm psychic." And I'm like, "Uh-huh." You know.
Oh, this is great.
But
So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is about selling product, right?
abso-fucking-lutely. Are you kidding? These are not
No.
cheap. Like these are like $25 at the low end, you know?
Yup.
Like even
So
this
of
like
course they're in every fandom. They want everyone buying them.
here's the Lord of the Rings tarot. I mean, you kidding? Yeah.
Will you do that one for us? Or I don't know, you
Oh,
do that one for me,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. I take
you
the
is
tell
there a
us.
best.
Starfleet one? Because I have the thing
You
that
know,
might.
there is. I don't have it because like when it comes to Star Trek, I don't like the tacky stuff. I go all in for Godzilla and Lord of the Rings, but when it comes to Star Trek, it's a little too sacred to me. You know.
Okay, that's fair. I thought
Okay.
you were saying Star Trek was tacky, and I was about to
No,
No.
become
No. 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 No.
offended.
No. No. I
end the
love.
session early. End the session early.
Yeah. Oh,
End the
Daniel's
session
having
early. You're
technical
fired.
difficulties. Uh-oh.
It's hilarious. No, I love Star Trek so much. I don't watch the new stuff because to me it's offensive that they're letting Kurtzman write that stuff. But we're getting off track. So all right, all right,
All right. So
yeah.
you're going to use the Lord of the Rings deck.
Ooh, you know what? The Hobbit Tarot is a lot better. Do I have that down
Oh.
here? It's more colorful. Give me like a second. It's not the best deck, but it's better than this. Just a
Wait,
second.
wait, wait. The Hobbit is
Okay.
from the
I
same
know, I know.
world.
Don't ask. It's
Same
licensing.
genre.
It's
Okay.
licensing. All right, I don't know where it went. All right, never mind.
We can
It's
make
just
do.
Peter Perkaunik. He
Mm, mm,
draws really great dragons
mm,
and
mm.
lots of cards. Just
And there's
good.
even a Star Trek connection with the Lord of the Rings. You know what that is, right, Car?
What is it?
With the Hobbit, Star Trek and Hobbit. You don't know that?
No,
Okay,
no, I
Leonard
don't think so.
Nimoy is on YouTube. Leonard Nimoy singing Bilbo Baggins, the Hobbit song.
Okay, yes, yes, okay. You're right.
Oh my God, if people
That
don't know that, oh.
Oh,
All
that
right.
I had that CD. It was a burned CD back in the day when people would just have CDs of
Now it's on
things.
YouTube and there's the video is astounding.
Yeah, my real issue with this deck is that for the major trumps which are the priest, the high priestess, the emperor, all that stuff, the big cards, they assigned characters to all of those, but the minor cards like the five of swords, the six of swords, all those minor cards, they didn't draw them. They're just like, here, I'll just pull one. Here's the 10 of rings. It's just 10 rings. You know,
Oh, that's kind of boring.
it's kind of boring. That's why I was looking for the Hobbit deck, but oh, I found it. I found it. I
It's
found it. I'm sorry.
fate.
My little studio is kind of chaotic because I run it. So, all
I love
right,
that.
here it is. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna do the Hobbit Tarot because it's fucking great.
Okay.
Behold
Okay.
Gandalf in all his glory. All right. Yeah.
I love it. So let's do it and then we'll like talk about it after you're done and break it down.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So, yeah. I also love how he draws Gollum. He's like a little green creature. Like I know he's supposed to be a hobbit, but still. All right.
I mean,
All
he's
right.
also a little creature.
He's open to interpretation. So, yeah, I mean, look, I'm shuffling the cards, and you need to know something, all right? First off, I do not claim to have any psychic powers. I am merely the conduit for greater powers than I can conceive of, all right? So, here are the cards. Here are the cards. I mean, I shuffle them where they go. Who the fuck knows, right? So, how are you doing this fine night?
Doing great. Okay, is this both of us or does it have to be one person at a time? How does it work?
I'll just do you, Kara, then I'll do Rob.
Okay, okay. I'm doing great. I love it. We're gonna do this. This is like how we talked about at the excursion. Like sometimes it's helpful to do things that were previously taboo or scary and then realize that they're not. So here we go.
I
Okay.
agree. And it's hard to do this stuff. I mean, for instance, this card is your significator. This is the Hierophant. And much like so, Kara, obviously you're a practitioner you're a seeker of truth, much like the Hierophant. Hierophant is very, 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 very motivated by, I mean, mystical or existential truth, let's say, getting to the bottom of things. Here's Gandalf communing with the elements, right? What is it saying?
Okay.
Well, we've got to move on, right? This card is you, though, right? This card represents you where you are. Doing RfRx, trying to find your groove, dealing with the nightmare of our culture. This is the card that crosses you. Behold, the Knight of Coins. We have Bard the Bowman. Right?
Ooh.
So, coins, yes. Coins are the suit of Earth. They refer to money, they refer to our problems down here. The Knight is the active card. It crosses your significator. Here you are, wise Dr. Griffin. And boom, we're we're all scrambling for money, right? We don't know what tomorrow will bring. We live in historic times. How did we get here? How did we get here? Well, I mean, we have the Emperor, King Thranduil, in his lovely, 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 opulent, gaudy fucking forest. This can only be one person. This can only be Donald Trump destroying the world. This is your past. This is all of our past, right?
Okay.
And I mean, here's the High Priestess, right? I mean, this is your recent past. Obviously, this is what? This is the book that Balin reads in. No, wait, I'm sorry. This is the book. These are the moon runes that Bilbo reads, right? The High Priestess is the keeper of mystic secrets. This was. I hate this so much.
This
But
is good.
honestly,
Is this the one that they have to read to get the door to open to go inside?
yes.
Okay.
And honestly, I mean, this is essentially you trying to make things work. This is you doing RFR. This is you doing your job, right? It's not easy. It's never easy, especially not when the whole country is exploding around you and your very identity is an object of rebellion, just like Thranduil with the orcs marching across Middle Earth, right? It's not great.
I
So
mean,
Daniel, if you
speak,
were
friend,
doing
and enter worked pretty well. That's pretty
if you were doing this in
straightforward.
Milan.
person, we can't
Yeah.
we can't see the decks. Are you just pulling them off the top one at a time? These aren't
Yes.
prepared in advance.
Yeah, I should probably be holding it up so you
No,
see
it's
them.
okay. And
Oh,
someone put in the chat, and I don't know if this is true that if again if it was in person, Kara would be picking the cards.
Uh, I've never done it like that, but
Interesting. Okay.
whatever the customer wants to do, we do. I don't care. It doesn't
and
matter.
then so you basically you're just getting these cards. Let's say you're pulling them off the top, or I'm picking them. Either way, like the card comes out, and you're basically weaving that into the story that you're
Yeah,
telling,
yeah.
and
You get
that's
yeah.
what it
Like I'm
is.
I'm very rusty, but like when I'm in my prime, I'm like fucking like this. You know what I mean? Like oh,
Yeah.
what does the future hold? Let's see. Behold, the Four of Swords. All of your friends fleeing together and
Oh,
finding their way.
jeez.
Like seriously,
To
like
Canada.
Oh,
exactly. Me and Jeff talk
yeah.
about this every week, you know. There's more to
I
it
love
too, but I
it.
mean like that's 6 cards. That's a full spread right there. You know what I mean?
Okay, so is that the end? Like you tell the story as the cards come out, or is there more? Are there follow-up questions, or like do
So
you
there
it,
so there are 4 more cards, right?
oh,
But
oh,
then
okay, okay. We interrupted. Go ahead.
oh well, yeah, sure. So, next is 7, the Chariot. This card is again you, but in a different form, right? Previously, we saw you as the Hierophant, right? We saw you as Gandalf, sitting
Hmm.
here and communing with the mystic secrets of the universe, as it were. As you try to deal with these disparate problems and influences on your life. But here's the chariot. You're not actually alone. You in many ways are very self-assured and have figured out just who you really are. You know better than most people, right? The chariot is a warrior girded for war and ready to engage the enemy on his or her or their own terms, as it were. Obviously, we have Bilbo and all the dwarves together on horseback moving towards the Lonely Mountain. Now, this is your physical state, the Six of Swords, right? Here's Bilbo fleeing into the trees to get away from the wolves, right?
Ooh.
The Six of Swords is a nasty card, but it's a card of migration. It's a card of escape. And I think it speaks for itself, right? I mean,
I love dogs.
me too. Me too. I like the wargs because they talk.
Uh-huh.
And they're friends
Fair.
with goblins. Your mental state, the Four of Cups. Cups are having to deal with emotion and love. The four is a moment of reflection, though. After the heavy emotion of 3, we have a moment of reprise. And here we have Gandalf cleaning his pipe, you know?
Are the cups like spell slots?
No, they refer to emotion specifically.
Oh,
Each
okay.
suit has a different significance. Wands are fire, but they also refer to your spirit, however you want to take that, you know? Interestingly enough, in the original playing cards that tarot cards are derived from, in reality, they were polo sticks, not magic wands.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
I,
That's
like
fucking
the
British as hell.
sport,
Yes.
amazing.
So depressing. And then the final outcome is the Ten of Cups.
Oh,
Absolute happiness and serenity. Apparently, this
huh.
is an elf just in the woods, right? And we have. I like to draw it as you have the outcome of the original Celtic cross because the original 6 cards are put into a weird cross formation, and then there's the line on the side. And there's one card at the top, and I like to say these are two ways of looking at your outcome: being at peace and happy, and also engaged with your friends and not concerned because everything's going to work out just fine for you because you're self-assured, powerful, and insightful, and an inspiration to everyone you touch.
So
Oh,
that is a reading that Carr would come back to you and pay more money for because that was all positive.
I know it came
well,
out
that's a
very
prediction, Rob.
Yes, it
We
is.
can test that.
true.
So were there a specific number of cards that you do for one reading?
10.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, when I had my Etsy shop, I had a few options. You can do just like 3 cards where you do past, present, and future, right? But if I could just do half of that spread, wouldn't actually be half, it would just be the first part, it would just be 6 cards, you know?
Oh, so it's like the what is it? The ghost of Christmas past, present, and future.
Yes. Yes. A lot of so what's fun about occultism is a lot of it is so arbitrary. It's not even funny. So I've never been into astrology. I despise astrology with a burning passion because it is just the peak of you know, arbitrary, stupid, made up narishkeit. It's not even fun to me. Whereas like the tarot is also, yes, it is arbitrary to a degree, but the fool is telling a story. It's a character, it's an archetype, it's archetypal. He's walking off a cliff, but he's also starting an adventure. And like when I started Deathwish, for instance, I just did it one day. I put a bunch of money into the website and I was the fool. And I that's what I like about the tarot. There's an
So
element
these
of
are,
mm-hmm.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, these are kind of like props for telling a story. It's not like you're predicting
Yeah.
the future, but you're using them as a way of telling a story that will resonate either with you or that you think will resonate with the person you're talking to. Is that right?
Essentially, yes. Yeah, that's how I look at it. And because they're so archetypal, again, they're great tools for psychoanalysis. I'm not a therapist, but doing it for myself or just if I'm just talking to someone, I don't see the harm really, especially because I'm always like, these are just cards. I'm just reading the cards, you know?
So it's like having, if you were to be at a party and you had a deck of conversation starting cards that are supposed to help you talk with the people around you, or, tell a story about, what's the most embarrassing thing you ever did, or something like that. This could be in some ways equated to that if you're using it in this sense, right?
Yeah, again, like because we're not in person, I didn't do it because it's too hard to move my camera. But like I love my favorite thing to do is say, what do you see in the cards? And just sit there for a minute, let you look at them and start talking, you know? By the way,
Hmm.
here's the Ten of Wands. It's Smaug. He's pierced by the black arrow. Wonderful, right? Isn't that great?
See, I like that one. Why didn't I get that one?
I know, it's very sad. The Devil's Smaug also. The problem with the Hobbit Tarot is there aren't a lot of characters, so they repeat a lot. Like Bilbo's on like 6 cards. There's no
That's
women,
fair.
so they grabbed Goldberry for the Empress. I think it's the
Oh my
Empress. I
goodness.
know, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah, like
sad.
I have to say, like the whole Lord of the Rings series, like doesn't really pass the Bechdel test. I mean, maybe like there's one conversation. I don't know. It's not great.
Sarah, will
I
you
mean,
please explain the Bechdel test for people who don't know what it is? Because
yeah, you might as
if
well.
you don't know
Yes.
what it is, you should know what it is.
So it's basically a measure of, does this story center women as subjects rather than objects? And it's a measurement of on how many occasions in this film or this book or this story are there two women who are talking to each other and it's not about one of the men. And it is kind of shocking how many productions do not pass this test, meaning they do not have an occasion
It's also
where that occurs.
It's a low bar.
they can be
Yeah.
talking about shoes and makeup and like they could be talking about any stereotypical feminine thing. It's just that they have two women have a conversation that's not about a man. And
Like
Right.
it's not a one size fits all, like, oh, this thing has strong women now that they're talking about things other than men, but it's a low bar that a lot of things can't even pass.
right, there are incredible
Yeah.
films that are feminist masterpieces that don't pass that test, and then there are films that do pass the test that are trash. So like it is not a
Right.
direct indicator on whether or not
Hmm.
something has a positive portrayal of women, but
Right.
you know.
But it is perhaps it's one indicator of many, and it's an indicator of, was this written by someone who thought of women as main characters in the story, insofar as like their dialogue is driving the story rather than they are props that show up once in a while to uh, advance the men's activities
It's funny
through
that I
their
was going through the deck,
information.
and The Hobbit is so starved of female characters. For the Queen of Swords, they made up the Queen of the Wargs. Like, what?
Oh my goodness.
It's
And
so
like the
funny.
spiders or something.
Oh yeah, I guess Shelob. Yeah, I don't even think she made it to the Lord of the Rings tarot, sadly, and that's
And she's like the main character. I recently
she's
okay,
a
so I've
major character. Yeah.
yes, this is more for the hangout, but I've been trying to work on my arachnophobia by like reframing the scary spiders as the embodiment of feminine power. Because I watched this YouTube video of someone talking about Shelob and Ungoliant and the whole like
Yes.
process of how those are the only like powerful females in the whole Tolkien universe. Well, not the only ones, but some of the
Well,
few.
you have like
And
Eowyn, but I mean, at the end of it,
yeah,
she's just drooling over Faramir, so whatever.
it's that. They're like prizes for the men, and the spiders are the only ones that aren't. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna
If
try and
Eowyn
reframe
hooked
my
up with anyone
arachnophobia this
else, I
way.
wouldn't have a problem with it. It had to be Faramir. Like, I don't know.
Okay,
Did he
I love Faramir personally. Like, I
like
am
him?
a big Faramir fan in the books, not the film.
No,
Uh,
in the books, I mean, I can't get over how he tortures Gollum. It just really upsets me. He's nasty he
oh,
almost takes the ring off Frodo. Like, I don't know.
see, I don't. I see where you're going with that. I always thought of that as he was testing Frodo and Sam. He wasn't actually going to do it. He wanted to see if they were the kind of people that would go along with that. But I
He
guess we
does let
don't
him
know for
go.
sure.
He does let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to talk more about this in the hangout. I have so much to say on this. I've watched some recent videos about
Hey,
this. Okay.
this is my
Anyway,
thing. Yeah, yeah. Sorry for the hangout.
yeah.
Cool. Back to
Okay.
reading back to reading tarot cards.
Back to reading tarot cards and what makes it fun versus a scam. So, question, could you use that same deck
Mm.
and read it for Rob? And I want to see how it's different.
Sure, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to read for Rob. Rob is a skeptical
With the
person.
same 7 cards? Oh, send the same 10
No!
cards? No,
Oh,
no.
should I do this? I shuffled the deck already.
Ooh, let's see if the powers that be have made those same cards come back out.
Hey, anything's possible with Trump in the White House, right? Anything can happen. It's funny. The back of these cards are very elaborate, but it doesn't map to how many rings of power there actually are. So I don't know why they bothered, I don't know. But,
It's almost like it is not really connected to anything that's real.
yeah, I guess so. Much like the tarot itself. But I mean, look, these are just simple cards, and we're just reading them here, and it's nice to read cards. So, I don't know. I think it's important, Rob, to understand your significator as the King of Swords, right? So swords have to do with the mind. They can also have to do with pain, but I like to read them as the mind, especially because I'm Mr. Skeptic, right? You know what I mean? Where was I? Okay. So, obviously, Rob, you are the king of the skeptics as far as I'm concerned. You are a very, very, very notable skeptic. And here you are represented by Thorin himself, Thorin Oakenshield. And he's tall because he's the king of the dwarves. The king of the dwarves is going to be taller than the other dwarves, all right? So, got that going for you.
So I'm a big fish in a little pond.
Well, aren't we all, you know? I don't know, man.
So that's a true thing though, because sitting in the lobby at the Excalibur in Las Vegas as people are filing in for the SciCon conference, and we're in the lobby bar, and the reception area, the check-in area is right there. And most of the people in this conference, are not the majority of the people in the hotel. There's like probably tens of thousands of people in the hotel, maybe 600. So most people milling around, just checking in, don't know what skepticism is or don't know what science is anyway. So Richard Dawkins walks up to check in, and like this was 8 years ago before he became really crazy. But besides that, like it's Richard Dawkins, it's Richard Dawkins, and nobody's paying the littlest attention to him because he's big fish in very tiny pond. People who understand evolution and care about that kind of subject, these people did not know who he was. Anyway, that's the big fish in little pond reference.
Okay.
And
Well,
I'm a tiny fish in a tiny pond.
oh, well, you're a big fish here. That's all that matters. This is the only pond I know, so whatever. I mean, this might as well be the ocean as far as I'm concerned.
If
And
any of the Cardassians had walked into that lobby, everyone would have known who they were and got bonkers over them. That's.
well, speaking of the Queen of Swords, she decided to show up again. I am loath to. So I think this itself is most likely RFR itself because you're the king of swords, but you give all your free time to RFR.
Seems like it sometimes.
Seems like it, right?
So, could I see that card close up? Is that a wolf howling? Is that what that is?
Yes, this is so the Queen of Swords is often crying. She's usually holding a bloody sword. So their interpretation is it's a sad warg after Gandalf has burned a lot of her children as with flaming pine cones. If you've read The Hobbit. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
okay. Hey, RFR is always crying for more money and how do you
We
say?
need donations. We need
We need
volunteers,
funds
people.
and we need
Yes,
volunteers
yes,
like
that is true.
desperately. So I don't think it's a bad characterization. The Hobbit Tarot deck by Peter Prokownik. Good job. The Page of Swords. This is often how you feel. The page is the guy who does all the hard work, like poor Bilbo fighting the spider. Day in and day out, you take more calls than most of us do. And it wears on you. It really does.
And I
Much
have
like,
to update the website for each of the
oh my
RfRxs.
gosh, the work is never ending. But here's the thing the value you get from all the good work you do just fills your heart with glory, much like the beautiful sun shining
I'm not
over the
doing it for
long.
I'm not doing it for the atheist buck. So yeah.
Yeah, right. Doing it for the atheist bucks. And here's the thing: I don't believe in karma. I don't go for that Narishkite, right? But at the end of the day, I think that justice itself. I can't. That's wrong audience. Here's the thing. This is Bilbo. I hate this card so much. That's why I hate this deck. So it's Bilbo with the Arkenstone and like Balance telling him to be quiet about it, but Bilbo stole the Arkenstone and didn't tell anyone about it. So whatever. Card doesn't really work. But here's the thing. Justice matters, and it's your sense of justice that carries you to be a skeptic and to tell the truth and to fight for what is right. Finally, we come to, your outcome, which is the Page of Wands. And, we've characterized you as a page before, as the Page of Swords. But, honestly, all your hard work speaks to the testament of your character, which is infallible. It's like Batman or something. And, this is Bilbo looking at the map, right? It's not a great deck. There's some cards like this. But I mean, here's the thing. All the hard work really does get you. It brings a tangible benefit that allows you to inspire others and keep this machine running. It can't run without people like you, right? But I mean, here's the thing. Looking at you in a different way, we have the Five of Swords, right? We have you as the self-assured King of Swords, right? In some respects, where you're just this hyper skeptic. Nothing gets by you. It's all BS. You don't care. Show me the proof. Don't tell me about your aliens, all right? But at the same time, it feels like skepticism just can't catch a break, man. People are always talking about those mummies, those alien mummies on Reddit. There's always
Oh,
more.
Three Eye Atlas. Every freaking 5 minutes, I'm getting something about Three
It's
Eyes being
coming.
an
It's a
alien
spaceship.
spaceship.
It's exhausting, and those are the people making
Oh,
money. Like, what?
oh
What is
yeah.
the deal?
Oh yeah.
So, we have you in your this is you in your environment. You're the fool. You can't help yourself. You throw yourself at these innumerable odds, these indomitable forces of obfuscation and fabrication, no matter what, because it's the right thing to do. You're the king of swords. You will not take no for an answer. Which brings me to, the last few cards, which are the Nine of Wands. Again, in your mind, everything's a giant and you're going to take them all down. And
Oh,
your
wait,
mind,
hold that up, hold that up,
sure, it's a
hold that
stone
up.
giant.
Oh my God, the thing he's holding looks like Three-Eye Atlas. That's the card that they
Exactly.
keep showing.
Listen, that is the
Oh.
entire point. The cards know, clearly,
That is a very oblong object. That is exactly the photo they keep showing, except they have lights on it, and sometimes they look like giant dinosaurs on it because they're aliens.
What's great about Atlas and all this stuff, though, is the truth always comes. It always comes out. The Eight of Wands is help coming at the last minute, much like the Eagles saving our heroes in The Hobbit.
Ooh.
And all these people that believe in Atlas, they'll see that you were right, Rob. They'll see that you were right, and some of them might not fall for the next scam, but most of them will. So,
One could hope. That's good. I think you've converted me. This is really right on the mark, Daniel.
The cards never lie. They never lie. They don't say much, but they never lie.
See, so now I'm going to fully put my skeptical hat on here and say what the problem with this is. I see it, right?
Yes.
If you or someone were to do this in a mode where you were convincing someone that you did this with some kind of paranormal powers, they would then be hooked and they would go to other people who could scam them and make it really bad. So just yesterday I interviewed a private eye named Bob Nygaard who tries to get justice for people who've been taken by psychic con artists for their entire life savings. And sometimes people commit suicide because they have lost so much money to these people who are all in because they saw some psychic who convinced them that it was real. Necessarily that the first person they went to wasn't the scammer person. They just paid them whatever, it's $50 for a reading. But then they are so convinced they keep going to person and going to person. Eventually they wind up with somebody who does do that kind of thing and they take them for all they're worth. And it goes on very commonly in the society. And like, why would one not believe this? Every cable network has a psychic medium that they promote on daytime television. Dr. Oz had a show where he introduced psychics like they were real.
Yeah.
And why would you not believe this? Every poll shows that something like 50% of Americans believe in psychics and medium power. So I would believe Tarot wouldn't be too far behind. I haven't seen the poll on that. But to me, that's the problem. If somebody is invested in this to the point where they think it's real, then they give power to people who can control them.
Yeah, I suppose. I've always been, well, okay, not ever since I closed my shop, let's say, I've been pretty open about this being fake. Like when I started talking to my dad, his girlfriend was like, "Wow, you read cards?" I was like, "It's not what you think." And I told my dad, I was like, "It's not what you think it is," but she couldn't be told different.
Well,
I just go ahead.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, I think that's really interesting because I do think there's a distinct difference between, telling someone I'm using this mystical power to read these cards for you versus this is a fun, like jokey thing we're doing. Let me pick the Hobbit deck and, we'll talk about it. And it's kind of like it makes me think about when I was deep in the, evangelical Southern Baptist way of thinking. This would have been like very taboo, very evil. We could get a demon over Zoom by doing this. I'm certain of it. You could definitely get a demon this way, and because it's supernatural and it's mystical and all that.
Yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
and there's this way of thinking that's always like, oh, well, the people that aren't religious, they're always trying to replace God with humans. And humanism is about making man God and all this and that and the other. But what strikes me as interesting about what you're doing when you're just reading these cards is for fun at a party and you're reading the deck for people that you know well and telling a story that you think goes with them and being very transparent about
Right.
that's what you're doing. Um, it is, in a way, kind of replacing the mystical powers with, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we had a game we could play where we connect with one another and talk about each other's personalities and have a good time and say insightful things about what I think about you? And to that extent, I see that as valuable, as let's kind of let the air out of this scary demonic thing and say, no, it's not any of that. This is, people chatting, and these cards are a springboard to have an interesting conversation, and we're all upfront about that. I think that's kind of
Interestingly,
fun.
as I've mentioned before, my family converted to evangelical Pentecostal Bible literalist Christianity from kind of like plain vanilla Christianity at one point. And
Wow.
my aunt who led that change in the family was initially into tarot and Ouija boards and all that kind of stuff. And then when
Oh
she became an evangelical,
no.
it was what was making me believe that. It's all nonsense. It's all the devil.
Ooh,
So she went the other
interesting.
way. She went the other way. Yeah.
So she
All
had
the
to
devil.
backpedal on that real
Yeah.
fast because
Oh yeah.
you get
It,
demons that way
oh yeah.
in
Oh yeah.
evangelical.
After
'Cause,
years of trying to convince me that, even as I think I was like maybe 15, 16 years old, and I didn't believe it at that time, even though I wasn't like a full-blown skeptic. I thought it was nonsense. But like trying to convince me and the rest of the family that Ouija was correct and tarot was correct and all that. And it's like, then Jen, oh, no, 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 never mind. That wasn't right.
Wow.
never mind, I'm believing in this other fantastical
Yeah.
thing with
Yeah.
supernatural powers. This one's the real one though, for sure
Yeah.
this time.
Because this had more evidence because like she went to places where they did faith healing and, everyone was faith healed. So yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that's never been debunked.
Mm.
Interesting. Okay, well, this has been kind of fun. Like I know we kind of came at it from all different angles here. I thought it was fun as a way of, kind of experiencing something that used to be, demonic and scary and, it's not in this format. Rob had a totally different take on it. Daniel came from a totally different background. What do y'all think after this whole conversation? Is this still spooky? Is this sufficiently spooky for Halloween, or is it actually not spooky at all? Or is it more spooky than we thought to start with?
I mean, Superman and Lois Lane as the world isn't that spooky, is it? I mean,
Oh,
come on.
wait, I have to spotlight this. All right.
It's wonderful,
Oh,
isn't it?
that's
The world is the culmination of your efforts. You've come home and you're wiser, you're more powerful, and you can live your life. And here's Superman coming home after victory, holding Lois Lane. Is that spooky? I don't think so. You
Is
know?
is there a Star Wars version?
Of course there is.
Ooh. Ooh,
As I
okay.
said, you're not a real fandom unless you get Monopoly and a tarot deck. Yu-Gi-Oh has gotten Monopoly, no tarot deck, although there are monsters based on tarot cards, so you know.
Interesting. Well, and I've heard plenty of evangelicals say that Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and all that
Oh
are
yeah,
already
the devil.
demonic.
It's all the
So,
devil. Everything's the devil with
they
these
don't need a
people.
tarot
Yeah.
deck to be demonic, but
I love the DC
The
tarot.
series Stranger Things. They played game. Did they ever play tarot? I don't remember.
they play D&D.
Yeah,
Play
but
D&D.
did
Yeah,
they play tarot?
that's devil enough.
They
Yeah.
didn't do tarot.
Yeah.
You know,
Super spooky.
spooky
Okay, I
booky.
love it. Well, okay, this has been fun. I had a good time. I liked it. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, I can now
Um,
say I had a tarot reading. It was
yeah.
pretty damn
And
good.
yeah, I think it was pretty good. It probably is better given that it was done by someone who knows you and told a story about you, and the cards were just kind of tangentially related to it.
Oh my gosh.
It's not magic? What?
What are you talking? Hey, the hell you say?
Surely not. Well, okay, then I feel like we're probably at a good wrap up point. But Daniel, before we go to questions, is there anything else that you want to mention about this topic or anything else?
Just remember, it's not real. You know,
Yeah.
the same skeptical tools you use to get out of your religion should not get you into, believing in spirits or tarot cards. They're awesome though. And it's definitely worth like just buying a deck and playing with it. It's better than asking ChatGPT.
I'll agree with that. I think it's nice to have joy in your life that you were previously not allowed to have, and now you can because you know there's not demons attached to it. So that's kind of cool.
You
But
you
also,
you
don't take people's money.
you don't take people's money, and you should also know that like the space of like reading tarot cards or being interested in it, it is a very queer friendly space. It's a very welcoming space, but it's important to remember that like you're going to run into people that believe in this stuff. And while it's so easy to just tell people like, "Oh, what you believe is stupid." What I find is that a lot of people like that get into this are people who are we've said this before. They're very recently, deconverted from religion. They're vulnerable and they're just looking for something and maybe they're scared. And I find that attacking these beliefs, like, yeah, I know, like Rob keeps bringing up like people that get scammed, but I find that people go through as we've said, a woo phase, and they're just exploring for the most part. That's been
Yeah,
my experience. And I think it's important to understand that a lot of those people are people who are very vulnerable, very hurt, and a lot of it really is harmless at the end of the day. You know?
fair. And
Yeah.
it's good to know the risks too. Like,
It's good to know
you
the
know,
risks. It is,
things are
but
nuanced.
I'm just saying that like as a former angry, aggressive atheist, those aren't the people I ever had a truck with, you know?
Mhm.
That's my
Yeah.
only real point.
Yeah. No, I like it. I love that we've done I think a little bit of demystifying tonight, if nothing else. We've taken
Which
a
is
peek
important.
behind the curtain.
Which is important because it's not it's just they're just cards with cool symbols, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's nothing magic or mystical about them. I don't care what that huckster Crowley wrote. If he was half as magic as he said he would have ruled the world. Yeah. Instead,
Fair.
he owed money to everyone and was broke and died poor. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Weird how nobody just seems to be able to win the lottery off of these card readings or
I know,
anything like
right?
that. Bizarre. My magic is really good at mundane things that could have happened by chance, but
Well, you know,
not anything special.
magic is hard. It's very hard, you know.
The
Fair.
explanation by people who claim those kinds of powers is, Kara, it doesn't work that way.
Oh, of course not. Don't test God.
Yeah.
It's like that woman that called Matt Dillahunty, and she's talking about how she can talk to the Holy Spirit. He's like, "What card am I holding up?" And she's like, "The Holy Spirit's
Right,
not
I
going to
saw
play
that
those
one.
games." And he's like, "Go
Yeah.
fuck her." Hung up immediately. It was so funny.
Holy Spirit is not interested in doing anything useful or proving its existence in any way. Okay,
Yeah, right.
great.
Okay.
All right. Well, I am going to drop your links in the chat where people can find you. Oh, I dropped that in the wrong place. Um, we have that is two links, although they kind of look like they blended together there, but that is going to Death Wish Poetry and Daniel's link tree. So check him out there for more spooky things, especially this month. And with that, let's go to questions. Rob, would you like to kick us off with a question?
Yeah, so we got a few. Let's see. Have you ever read the Promethea
Oh,
graphics
Promethea, the Alan Moore
by
book. No, I
Alan
haven't
Moore?
read it.
Tara, yeah, Tara. It says Tara shows up a lot along with Crowley in the series.
I'll bet it does. Yeah, yeah. Moore loves his occultism. No, no, that's one of the few books by him I haven't read yet. I know it's really good.
Ah,
I've
so that's a
heard phenomenal things.
recommendation.
Yeah.
Maybe Kara has to put it on their list.
All right, more for the book, the Goodreads list. Promethea by Alan Moore. Looking it up now.
Yeah. If you haven't read his like Watchmen, you should start there. That's a phenomenal bit of political satire.
Oh, like The Watchmen? That's the same person?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Alan
I
Moore
did
is
not
a
know that.
novelist that wrote comic books. I don't understand why he was writing comic books. He was kind of too smart for the medium, but you know,
Fair.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna put the link in the chat then to Alan Moore on Goodreads, which I know we need a better uh
You
place
would
to
like
link people to than that, but
yeah, you would like V for Vendetta too. That's a really good book too. Talk about political satire. I mean, yo.
did you say Beer Vendetta?
V for Vendetta.
B is for
V for
Vendetta
Vendetta. Okay, I heard Beer Vendetta for
for the
some
movie.
reason,
I
but
mean, I want to know all about the beer vendetta. Where at, you
I
know?
know. It's like what happens? I have watched the film V for Vendetta, but I have not read. Is it a graphic novel?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't
fair.
think it came out in issues. I think it just came out as like one big book, you know. But
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. But yeah, that movie's not bad. It's okay.
Check it out. I watched that movie with my brother and our friends Lindsay Doolittle and Jason Rashotes in Kansas City.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
fun
it
time.
was more about Thatcherism, but you know, the movie, of course, was you know responding to Bush. So you know, the themes are
Yeah,
eternal, honestly. Yeah.
fair. All right. Well, okay, we've got some recommendations on our list then. Okay, next question is how many suits are in the tarot deck?
Well, four, you know.
Oh, is it like the same ones as a regular deck of cards?
Yeah, basically. I think spades are the are adapted as a pentagrams or coins or discs, depending on which deck you're looking
So
at. But
I
yeah,
don't want to put you on the spot if you haven't researched that, but like what yeah, what's the connection between the typical 52 playing card deck and the typical tarot cards?
They were just added to it. They were just added. Like the playing cards came first, but the major trumps, they're different. Like, like the magician was the juggler originally. The empress was the female pope, which maps to a weird
Whoa.
legend about a female pope who
Yeah,
people
yeah,
found.
yeah.
Yeah, you know about this. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
found out as a woman when she gave birth while giving a speech, which is a story that makes no sense. But yeah, they were just sort of smooshed together at one point. The Tower of Marseille is one of the early examples. Um, they're adapted from playing cards. As I said before, the wands were originally polo sticks. You know,
Okay.
yeah, cups were. I believe they were always cups.
So pretentious.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to what you said at the beginning. It's a rich person hobby. I can see it.
I know, right? Like polo, right? Like, yeah.
Oh, the privilege. Okay. What else do we have?
Rich person's hobby. It's so true. So much gold is needed to summon demons, man. It's fucking crazy. I don't know what they
Right?
need gold for. I guess gold's a good conductor, so I don't know.
Hey,
I mean,
hey,
what does
aliens.
God need with a
Yeah,
starship
What
anyway?
does
or
God need with
gold.
the stars? Now, Jimmy, you don't ask the creator for his secrets. Oh,
There
it's
are
an
friends of
excellent
mine who
question.
believe aliens came to Earth 20-ish thousand years ago to make human slaves to mine gold.
Oh
So
my God.
Oh,
gold's wanted by everyone. Gold's wanted by everyone.
I saw that in what's that John Travolta movie about Scientology? Um
You're talking about Battlefield Earth?
Battlefield
Yes,
Earth?
yes, Battlefield Earth. That
That's
was
the
it.
best movie ever.
It's so bad.
Don't you want lunch?
It is intensely bad. I had secondhand embarrassment when I watched that movie for like
Like,
everyone that was
was
involved
that
in
the
it.
director's fault? Was he told to have a good voice like that? Like, I don't understand.
I've seen that movie more than some of my favorite movies. So it was actually directed by the special effects coordinator of The Phantom Menace.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some pedigree right there. John Travolta was the big producer on it because he's a crazy Scientologist, and
Ugh.
yeah, yeah, he's a
Okay,
must.
I now know that we need to talk more about this in the Hangout because someone is saying that they actually really liked this movie, and I need to
Oh,
know
I
the
love it
details
too
of
for
this.
different reasons.
Oh my goodness. Oh, they're saying it's hilarabad. Yeah, okay, that
There's
I
like
buy.
that weird like CGI character that's training them to use the flight thing. He like apologizes for existing. Like to me, he's apologizing for the movie, you know? It's like I'm so sorry, I don't exist. Like, you know.
It's
I
so
don't remember
meta.
it that well because I've only seen it once, and I actually paid money to see it. First one in the theater, and came out so disappointed. It's like,
That's
what the
awesome.
hell?
I
Man, I
remember when this film came out, like thinking it was going to be like just a regular science fiction
Yeah.
movie. I didn't
Yeah.
know it had anything to do with Scientology. I had no idea. I didn't see it in the theater, but I, I could have. I would have. Ugh.
those people pay good money to keep Battlefield Earth at the top of the bestseller list too.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that makes sense.
goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got one question left. Let's see. Where are we? Oh, Rob, do you want to read it or shall I?
Yeah, this is kind of connected with what my argument was. So,
Yeah.
Daniel, is tarot the problem, or is it just people taking advantage of other people, and the tool itself wouldn't matter?
Yeah, I think it's the people. It's always the people. That's always going to be my answer, like
Yeah,
immediately. Like, I don't care what it is.
I agree.
It could be anything, you know?
That's fair. This is
Yeah.
why we don't deserve dogs and any of the other animals that
Yeah,
deign to be our
dogs are used as a
companions.
tool of oppression, absolutely, you know?
Ah, so unfortunate. Yeah. So
There's
the
riot
people are the
cops in
problem.
Portland, right? You know, they got dogs,
Oh
don't they?
my
They got the German
goodness.
Shepherds.
Yep. And don't blame the German shepherds. Like they're doing what they were taught to do. It's the
Exactly.
people.
Very
Yeah,
sad. It's very sad.
absolutely.
It's the
Okay. Well, yeah.
We did it
On
again.
that. Yep. Okay. Well, that is all we have for questions. So I think it might be time to wrap up and go to the hangout. Any further comments, Daniel or Rob or Glenda, who has been very busy troll stomping? This has apparently been a popular troll episode for some
Yeah,
reason.
what
Who
was
knew?
going on? We haven't
I
heard
wasn't
from them
watching I wasn't
forever.
watching. That's crazy. Really?
Oh my God, we
Again,
had somebody try to join with like their Zoom name had like 4 slurs in it, 4 different slurs in 4 different categories of things. It's
Wait,
like,
really?
oh
yeah,
yeah,
again,
yeah,
I
yeah.
promise it has nothing to do with the topic at hand. The the Zoom trolls, all they do is scan the internet for open Zoom meetings. They don't
Okay.
give one flying fuck about who we are or what we do or what we're even talking about. Like, it's a catch-all. There's an open Zoom meeting, go. And it was probably shared in a Discord or on Twitter or whatever. And so, yes, I was annoyingly busy all night. If I removed somebody who was not a troll, my apologies. However, with everything else, yes, I was
Yes.
very busy. I think I removed like 12 people.
Wow. That might be a
Wow.
record.
No, it's
It's been
not.
a while.
Oh my God, it is not.
Really?
Oh, I think
Oh,
my
we've had
record
some really bad
was
ones.
during Mandisa Thomas's
Yeah.
talk,
Oh,
which
okay.
of course it was. I think I
Right.
removed 56 trolls.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And then
People
there
on
was,
the internet
so
get
yeah,
big mad about Black women speaking. Big
that,
mad.
yes, yeah. And again, this was during like peak Zoom bombing where it's like think of like a Discord server that's got thousands of people in it, that this is literally all that they do. They find open Zoom meetings to like do slurs and whatever. Again, they don't care about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everyone needs a hobby, as I like to say, you know?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. And we were kind of done with it because they got a little older and grew up a little bit and started getting interested in the gender of the people that they're sexually attracted to, I think. I feel like that was a thing. And then now it's no, anyway. Anyway, so all
Yeah.
right. Glad I didn't disrupt your talk.
Well, thank you for being here, Glenda, and
Yeah.
for stomping the trolls.
Yeah,
No,
man.
I
We
was supposed to be cleaning.
appreciate
I was
you.
gonna like, oh, it'll be a chill night. I'll like have my computer up and then I gotta keep cleaning my house because I'm having a house party tomorrow. And no, I was busy all night.
Stomping trolls. But it's very satisfying,
It
right?
is satisfying to help people leave. It's one of my favorite things.
I love it. I love it.
Goodbye.
You
Goodbye,
helped some.
trolls.
Yeah, it's the way you said it. You're like, I just helped someone leave, you know?
Especially because I don't think they're prepared for how fast. Because like they don't understand that I'm literally hovering my finger over the remove button and I'm waiting for them. And then the second they probably thought we have a program that instantly removes based off like no, it's just me.
Right,
That fast.
right. I love when they try and argue about it and be like, oh, well, let me explain why you can't remove me. And like halfway into their typing, Glenda's like, goodbye, you're
Oh,
gone forever.
delicious.
Oh,
It's
Did you
amazing.
see that one where there was a huge scrolling thing of gibberish?
Yes, and you know what that was extra funny is because it was probably, do you know what ACII is?
Ashy.
Yeah, ASCII.
Yeah, so like you make pictures with images. It was
Uh,
probably supposed to be like a dick or something, but because like it didn't like kern the right way
didn't
with like
format
it
properly.
didn't
Okay.
format
Yeah.
properly, like it was just nothing. And so it's like
Oh
didn't even
no.
get it. And I removed you instantly. Oh.
Your trolling was defeated.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good
Sad.
times.
I have
All
a
right.
lizard on my
Well,
head. Yep.
yeah. Well, it's been a fun and eventful night, and the cards did not predict this happening, but we still had a good time anyway. And we'll be here next week again, same bat time, same bat channel, and we're gonna have continuing with our spooky theme for the month of October. We're gonna have former ghost hunter and now scientific paranormal investigator Kenny Biddle coming back on again for a repeat episode. Not a repeat episode, but it's another appearance.
Yeah,
And
the first time he was just an author for Skeptical Inquirer like me. Then he got hired and moved his ass from Philadelphia up to Buffalo, where the headquarters is, and he's a full-time, you know, this is his job. We could talk a little bit about that with him actually. It's like, it was probably his dream job, his whole entire life, and he was doing whatever he was doing was some kind of technician. And all of a sudden, he has his dream job. He's a professional paranormal investigator.
oh, I am so excited to hear more about this next
Very
week.
jealous.
That's
I'm
gonna
very
be fun.
jealous. Where do I apply?
Yeah. Right. Well, we'll find out next week. Come join us next week and we'll know.
True.
So can't wait for that. And don't forget to follow us on the social medias. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and of course, YouTube. So like, follow, subscribe, do all those things if you are comfortable doing that on your page. It helps other people find us in addition to helping you know what's going on with RFR. But it also helps other people notice us and access our services. Of course, you don't have to do any of those things if you're, you know, kind of not out to your family or friend group as a secular person. It's totally okay to follow us privately or whatever works for you. And with that, oh yes, and we're also on Meetup. Great point. We also post these on Meetup, and that's also where the support groups happen, or where you can sign up for the support groups in any case. Okay, and with that, Rob, how else can people get involved?
Yeah, if they have the time and inclination, it would be great to join us as a volunteer. We've learned that healing can come from helping other people. We're always in need of more volunteers. There's all sorts of things that volunteers do here besides working the helplines. We need people to find and vet and post good resources for our clients and the agents to use. We need people to host support groups. We need people to moderate the online community. We need people to do things like the show, or upload it to YouTube and that kind of a thing. And also, if you have IT skills, we need people to do that because we're always improving our software to better the system for both our clients and the agents. So to volunteer, fill out the form on our main page. And lastly, I'm going to mention we have a 3-minute video that covers a lot of what we do. And you can find that on our main page. It's called RFR, What We Do, or you could just search YouTube for that name, RFR, What We Do, and you can send that to anyone who you know who may benefit from our services.
Yeah, and speaking of which, that reminds me before I hand it over to Gail, I wanted to mention to everyone that starting soon, about 3 weeks from tonight, actually, November 3rd, in an effort to get more people aware of our services and our program, we are going to be live streaming RfRx to YouTube. That's starting on November 3rd, so you can actually watch live instead of waiting weeks for the recording. But don't worry, if you like joining us here in Zoom and being here with your camera and hanging out with us for the hangout after the show, that is all going to continue. We'll still be here in Zoom doing all of that. You don't have to go anywhere. But we will also be live streaming to YouTube. So, like, the video format may look a little bit different. And instead of having our long commercial at the beginning, we'll just kind of have that in the comments. And we'll show that RFR What We Do video right at the beginning, and we'll jump right into the show. So don't forget, starting in November, if you often wait to join until like 15 or 20 minutes after the hour because you've heard the commercial, don't do that anymore. Join us at the top of the hour because we'll just be jumping right into the show. So we're excited for that. I know y'all are excited for that. Everyone wins. So it'll be at the top of the hour, starting with the show starting in November. Okay, so let me pass it over to Gail then to wrap us up for the evening with the benediction, as it were.
Thank you, Kara. What a fantastic show. I texted Glenda in the middle of the show saying, when I deconstructed, I jumped directly from faith to science. I didn't do any woo along the path. And in fact, I had big chips. I got to confess, I'm kind of Team Rob in this one. It was it had no appeal to me. It was just more of the same. In fact, I was a massage therapist when I was in law school. I mentioned that in the chat, and it became a problem for me because there is so much woo in massage therapy. It can do these magical things and these magical things, and mine was sort of an athletics-based practice, and so it was only because it felt better. It did move some fluid around, but it mostly just felt good after you'd been training. My practice was located in a gym, but the peripheral stuff that was attached to massage therapy was so overwhelming. As much as I loved it when I started it, when I was a believer, I got to the point where I couldn't wait to get away from it. And that's when I went to law school and finished and never really looked back because I just had such an aversion to the, oh, it's magic, trust me. And so you have presented it, Daniel, in a way that it's made me a little bit more interested in it because as entertainment, as Kara said, as building community, as being fun, as now you pass the cards to somebody else and let them say something about you and let them interpret, what does this card mean about who you are? I don't know. I've never understood the attraction on the woo part, but I certainly understand the attraction on the community building part and the communications part and the friendship part and all those things. So it's been a wonderful show. It astounds me. Every week we go from one show to the next, and each one is interesting and in its own way and appeals to different folks for different parts of their lives. It's what we do here at RfRx. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you for co-hosting, Kara and Rob and Glenda for stomping all of the stomping that we did tonight. Nikki for your streaming, and then all the other folks that do all the behind the scenes things to get these embedded into YouTube and what we're doing. Don't forget that we are heading toward the new live on YouTube. So that gives you yet another option. But as Kara said, we'll still be at home here, at least for the time being. That starts the beginning of November. But what does begin to start is that we will be jumping into the show a little bit more quickly. So don't be discouraged if you wait your usual 10 or 15 minutes for us to do our RFR banter and the show is 15 minutes into it. So don't forget that. Stay for the hangout and we'll see everybody next week.